Hey, what up guys? It's me, Danny Pugh, the spiritual guide, and today I'm in astrologer mode, and I'm going to be doing a new video that I'm going to add to my YouTube playlist called Celebrity Charts. So my first chart in that playlist is all about how to read a chart, and of course I chose myself as the first celebrity chart reading because why not? Anyways, I saw Beyonce last weekend and it was amazing, and it was just reminding me how amazing of a performer she truly is. And all I could think about was her chart and that crazy Leo rising she has with Mars right there. And anyway, I just looking forward to walking you through this chart and showing you all of the notable things going on here. So let's just open it up. All right, so I want to walk you through just real quickly the choices I made when casting this chart. So all around the internet, there is some debate about what time Beyonce was born. Of course, she was born on September 4th, 1981, which was a Friday, which is the day of Venus. And you'll see how I'll explain why that ties in even more in a second. Some of the charts online show 10 a.m., which would be a Libra rising, and there's no way she's Libra rising. She's Leo rising all the way. And then I saw this 4:37 a.m. and I have seen some other notable astrologers online with this 4:37 a.m. birth time. Just to also just clarify, and maybe it's not quite that exact time. Maybe it's 4:45, etc. I chose to cast this chart as a whole sign chart, which puts each house on the 0-degree cusp line of each sign, so we won't worry too much about the house degrees. And this will just help to keep the chart reading really clear and simple. And I really use this a lot, the whole sign chart, for a couple of different things, Time Lords amongst others. So, all right, that's pretty much it. It's a tropical chart, obviously, and Texas, Houston, it's daylight savings. All right, so let's just jump right into it. Okay, so, what do you know Beyonce for? Like, what is her main quality? You see this ferocious, outrageous costumes. She's always like, she's like biting at, the air when she's on stage, and she's just this ferocious panther. And of course she has Leo rising, and, Leo rising isn't always that, outrageous and bombastic by itself. Of course, that's what we know Mars is. So we have Mars in Leo, right there on the ascendant, blasting its intensity, its need to perform, and all this energy going into entertaining and play. I mean, that you couldn't have a better positioning for a performer than having Mars and Leo on the ascendant. There's just really no better situation you can have. Otherwise, let's see. So I just want to make that really clear. This is the Mars and Leo is what gives her that really outrageous energy. She gets on stage and she turns into her feline energy, and it's ferocious and it's warrior-like, just like Mars is. And she goes on and she slays. She literally does. She goes on with it's like she's got swords on her arms, and she's just like, everything is like ka 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 ka. There's not a better metaphor. It's Mars and Leo on the ascendant. It's genius. That's what makes her so amazing, so interesting. And then we look at what houses Mars owns, because Mars is going to bring the houses that it owns into that ascendant. So Mars owns the 9th house of higher education and ideals, spirituality. So she's bringing that energy is coming to the forefront. And you do sort of see that sometimes, and when you hear her talking, she has a very kind of philosophical twist on things. Sometimes she doesn't make a lot of sense, but she's known to sort of ramble and talk about, oh yeah, it's really interesting, I'm going through this, and I'm really processing all of these things, and I'm so grateful to God. I mean, you see all that spiritual energy coming right here. And that's a trine, obviously, as well. So you got fire. Fire is just a really great situation. And then we have Martian energy also coming from the 4th house. This is your kind of your foundational philosophies, your home. And you see that coming to the forefront, and that also represents her father. So her father being really, really heavy-handed, as as she's sort of alluded to, being really heavy-handed in her life, right on the ascendant. That is, I own you. I'm in charge. I'm going to tell you what to do. So she gets a lot of that energy from her dad, and yeah, you look at that as a negative thing, but in some of the kind of poetry of her recent lyrics, you understand sort of how she does value the wisdom and the expertise and the discipline that she learned from her father. That's all right here in the chart. We're just looking at this one planet, it's all there. We see her moon here in Scorpio, so that's bringing some of that lunar sensitive energy up here to the first house as well. This moon in the fourth also is related to her father. She's very, very emotionally, very emotional about her father. And the moon is here in its fall in Scorpio. So, again, feeling really trapped and sort of negative and intense and suppressed about some of her emotions about her father and her home life. The fact that it's Scorpio too, Scorpio has that hidden energy. It's the feminine side of Mars. So we see that she hides all of that. She suppresses her emotions, and she's never really fully come out and spoken directly about her family life. It's kind of private, and that's Scorpio energy there. Also, this is more Martian energy. So when you see Beyonce being really kind of prickly and where she's kind of, people say, oh, she could be a little demonic or something, but her ability to just be kind of like a little creepy and a little, being able to channel some of that sort of kind of malevolent energy in her performances, that's really pulling that Scorpio energy in as well. And so obviously, she's learned to channel that energy in her creativity, and that's all shown right here. So the other main thing that obviously we look at when we're looking at a chart, if you come to any of my classes or watch my videos, what's the first thing we look at in a birth chart? The ruler of the first house. So the ruler of the first house would be the sun. The sun owns Leo. So the sun represents who she really is and her perspective on all things. So yes, we see this bombastic, outrageous, ferocious, feline energy, which is just such a beautiful metaphor here. We see that energy is the first thing we see about her. It's really loud. It is a big part of who she is, but who she sees herself as and who her natural energy is, that's going to be the sun in Virgo, and that is exactly the person you see when she's interviewing. The sun is a big bright star. It's very it can be very it's very fun loving, very free spirited, very very interested in being appreciated, and very it's in its dignity. There's a lot of humility. And Virgo is a very small sign. It's very compact. It's constricted. It's the energy of Mercury trying to boil things down and simplify. So you have this solar energy trying to perfect. And Virgo is also known as the scientist. So you see her as the scientist of boiling down that big performance energy. And that's what a moon in Virgo is going to do. So she is a perfectionist, and she's a scientist of that performance energy. And yeah, I mean, anybody would tell you that. And also a big thing about Virgo is the curation. So she's not always necessarily original with some of her artwork. She pulls from a lot of inspiration, a lot of different sources. And that's what Virgo is going to do. It's going to see it all. It's going to boil it down. It's going to prune. It's going to pick the best things, and it's going to highlight them, and everything else that's not perfect just gets cut out. And so, I mean, that's who you see. That's who Beyonce is. She's a scientist of performance. She's a performance scientist. And, that all supports that Mars there on the ascendant. She's going to get it done. She's in charge. You cannot boss somebody like this around. And she refuses to be bossed around. This is a superstar chart already from the get-go, with just looking at two signs here, 2 planets. And then what I want to also illustrate is where all the energy in her chart is funneling to, okay? So this is it's so good. It's so good. It's like a textbook genius chart, okay? So Leo here on Mars here. So if we follow the track, follow the track of this through. So we've got Leo here, Mars, Leo in the ascendant leads us to the Sun. Sun's in Virgo leads us to Mercury, which is in Libra, leads us to Venus. Venus is in its own sign in Libra. So everything leads back to Venus in her chart, okay? So Mars leads to Venus eventually, Sun leads to Venus. All these planets are in Venus, they lead to Venus. The moon is in Scorpio, and then where do we go? Scorpio is owned by Mars, Leo's owned by the Sun, Virgo's owned by Mercury, Libra's owned by Venus. So every single point in her chart leads back to Venus in Libra, which is the most beautiful situation you can ever have. It's the most perfect situation you can possibly do. It's just too good. It's too good. It's just too good. And, okay, listen to this. So she was born on Friday. That's the day of Venus, Freeze Star. Freeze Star is the name of the Germanic goddess of beauty. Also, known in Greek literature and mythology as Aphrodite, also known as Venus. So Friday is the day of Venus. She was born on the day of Venus. Every planet in her chart leads to Venus. It's in its own sign. It's the most beautiful situation you can possibly have in the chart. And every planet leads to Venus. And get this, Venus is her guardian angel planet. So guardian angel planet is whatever planet is closest to 24.5 degrees without going over. So it's the highest ideal. And there she is. This 19 degrees is the highest planet here, highest degree. So that's her guardian angel planet. So not only is she born on the day of Venus, and every planet filters through Venus, and it's the strongest planet in the chart, but it's her guardian angel, which means that Venus is going to ensure that she always looks gorgeous and flawless, hence her slogan, flawless. I woke up like this. I mean, Beyonce does wake up looking amazing because that Venus guarantees that she must, by law, by astrological law, Beyonce must always look beautiful and perfect. And she doesn't even try that hard, it's true. It's really an unrealistic expectation for the rest of the world and the rest of the planet, but Beyonce wakes up looking gorgeous because Venus does that for her. So when you look at the sunset chart, we rotate the whole chart to the sunset. And then you look at what planets were rising before the sun and which ones are setting before. So you want to have the aggressive masculine planets rising ahead of the sun. So Mars comes out first before the sun here, and that just presents really strong, aggressive energy up front, and it protects the sun, and it's a really great position to have. It's also okay to have Saturn up there as a front runner. You definitely always want the moon behind here, and it's good to have some of the more naive planets and delicate planets like Mercury and Venus behind the sun, and you see they are all there. So you see another thing here which shows, in her security, she always has very strong security. She's kind of untouchable. She has Mars protecting her. And she holds all her cards very close, right behind the sun, and the moon's a little bit back here, but I mean, it's like another kind of perfect alignment. Like, she's untouchable, she's always safe. I mean, come on. If I didn't love her anymore. So, okay, that's it today. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I really, really appreciate it. I'm really trying to get past 100 views. I'm just kind of getting started here, and please share and like and subscribe and ask me any questions, and I'd be so happy to do any videos and ask any questions, or let me know if there are any other celebrities you'd like to see their charts. And yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.